All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Talk That Talk. I'm your host, Jadia, and I am very excited for today's guest. He is a singer, a songwriter, an entrepreneur, a published model, and he's also one of my best friends, but that is not why I asked him to be on the show. But give it up, everyone, for Quentin Cheatham.
What's up, my man? It's so good to be here.
Thank you so much for being here, man. Like, how are you? How's everything going?
I'm great, man. I can't complain. I feel like during the pandemic, the weight's been heavy on us all.
Man.
But, man, I can't complain because, every time I feel like getting down on myself, something happens, I get that spark, and I'm just, able to find a way. So, been good. No complaints.
That's awesome. That is so good. Once again, thank you, man, so much for being here. All right. So for anyone who doesn't know who you are, tell the people a little bit about who Quentin is.
Well, as you mentioned, I'm an artist, entrepreneur, a published model, and, I'm those things. But, I feel like who Quentin is, or who I would like people to know me as, is a compassionate guy who's very sensitive to a lot of things, a family man, and, not afraid to express myself and to, be in touch with who I actually am. Even being a male, I'm not afraid to cry, I'm not afraid to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not afraid to, I don't have too much pride to express myself. And so I feel like that's who I am. That's a little bit about who I am.
Just, okay, before we move on, just to touch a little bit on that, I have to say, I have a lot of respect for you for openly just saying that, look, I'm a guy, but I cry sometimes, I am a sensitive person, and like, you own that. And so for you, especially when, we're taught as boys that, emotion is like, stop being such a girl about things. Like, how have you been able to own that part of yourself? It's like, look, I am sensitive about things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cry sometimes. It is what it is. That's just part of who I am. Like, how have you owned that part of yourself?
I think, growing up, I played football, and it was very nice. I was very successful at it, but it was at a time, when you're growing up, you just kind of want to be part of the guys. And when I was little, that's what I saw. So that's what I went after, right? But I noticed that, first early on, I was teased all the time. I was kind of clumsy, or they labeled me as so. And then, growing up after, when I get to high school, I end up being the guy. I'm the actual all-time leading rusher at my school. Ended up being, yeah.
Okay, come on, accomplishments come through.
I know it's kind of crazy, but yet being so good at football, I have not a football jersey. I don't have I've never been to an NFL game. It was just something as me to be part of something. But the thing that really helped me, the reason why I share that story is because I played in band growing up, and I stopped doing it. I stopped doing certain things I love because I remember growing up, they'll be like, oh, you a little drummer boy, and oh, that's soft, you missing practice, and they'll be pissed, and I just those were those things that later on in life that saved my life, tapping into my gifts and my interest in music, and me actually wanting to express myself in that way. But growing up, because of being in environments like that, it was suppressed. I was afraid to sing. I was afraid to, even though it was in me, I was afraid to do those things. And like I said, when I went through my lowest point in life, guess what saved me? my singing, my interest in music, those things that were deemed as soft. You need to be playing football. You need to be with us. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more to it, but those are some of those main things that I remember that was like, man, this is not all I'm meant for. It's not just playing sports. I'm not just a black athlete,
Wow.
I could do other things, and I like to express my emotions through other things that most people, wouldn't do. So, yeah.
So let me just tell y'all real quick. This, like I said in the introduction, he is a singer-songwriter, and y'all listen up. Listen to what I'm saying. This man can sing. You hear me? This man can sing. And the very first time that I saw him was at the lobby open mic that would happen at Bakersfield at Timber, right? It was Timber Brewery, and it was every fourth Friday of the month. And that was such the thing about it, that was such a beautiful, beautiful thing because it really brought, just real music lovers together and just to enjoy some good music and go out and just have a good time. And that was the very first time I ever saw him. And the thing is, I will admit I have my opinions about Quentin because he when he was performing, he had like the whole like smooth, suave like suave guy, performance going on. I'm just like, all right, here's this guy, but like getting to know you has really been has been amazing. It's just to like to see the work that you put in, with your music and just your work ethic and just where you are right now. I remember when I saw that you actually started modeling, I was completely caught off guard. So how did you get into modeling? Was that always part of what you wanted to do, or was that something that just kind of just came into the picture?
Man, you know what? That's an interesting question, and I'm happy to answer that with detail.
Yes.
Like growing up, I remember somebody asked me if I was a model one time, and I didn't think I was ugly or anything like that, but I just didn't see myself. I don't know why they would even ask me that question. And I thought about it. It's like maybe that is something I could do. Maybe but
Right, right.
it's like how do you get into it? So fast forward, I obviously didn't get into modeling, but through the music, I when I developed a situation, I was once signed with a record label, and through that I was doing like a lot of photo shoots. Yeah, I was signed before, and
People, come on. It is possible. Because you know what? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's just for people who feel like, like what's going on in Bakersfield, like I can't really build onto something where I can't really, become anybody in Bakersfield, because Bakersfield has a reputation of once you get here, it's just stagnant. But
yeah.
we have Quentin, who is a perfect example of you can really make it. You just have to, go for it and know, where to go and just how to get there. So yeah, anyways, as you were saying.
Right. And so and I thank you for that, by the way. Because that's the goal. We want to inspire, but we'll touch on that a little later. Let me get on with this. So because I
Right.
got a lot, man. I got a lot to give. But so I was signed with a label, and doing your music, you need content, you need promotion. And so, this is my first time being in this situation. Like we had shooting music videos, we got hair and makeup ladies, we got a director here, we got I don't know, like a set director, a coordinator. We got somebody fixing my clothes. Like I'm like,
Look,
okay. So
somebody for everything.
yeah. And so I was just barely kind of coming into myself around that time. It was crazy, but I started getting used to having photo shoots often. Every time I'm making music, we need photo shoots, we need content, we need to produce these things. And so I got used to it. And during my stint at the record label, I actually met who is now my soon to be wife. Um, she's a model.
It's
Yes.
it only makes sense. It only makes sense.
So, yeah, exactly. So she was a model, and I mean, it's like love at first sight, but we didn't get together right away. But she was my lead model for one of my music videos, and we got to know each other. And she was just getting back into modeling at that time, so it was perfect for her. She hopped right into a lead spot. My video is amazing, and so long story short, we ended up seeing each other, courting each other, and then we actually made it official. And I'm always supporting my lady, so I would always have to take her to her fashion shows and
Mm.
to casting calls. And if for those who don't know of casting calls, this is one of the ways you get into modeling. You don't have to be signed with an agency, even though I am with an agency. You just have to be able to get the information where the casting calls are, and you got to walk. You got to do your thing. You got to be able to pose, and that's how you get into it.
Right.
But anyway, so I would be taking her to things like that, and one time she was shooting with the agency that she was potentially getting ready to sign with. And that particular day, I'm just standing by, but I'm also, little do they know, I'm actually getting ready to go to my first ever casting for a fashion show after this photo shoot that she's doing with her agency. And they were looking at me and they were like, yo, man, you want to take some pictures? And I was like, well, of course,
Yeah.
of course, that's what I'm here for. I'm just, watching you guys. And it turns out, like, we ended up taking pictures, and I took some with Charlotte. They took some of me individually. And, and then after that, I went to my casting. And after we finished that whole day, we get home and I get a call from the agency that, her agency. And so they didn't want to assume, but they were asking me, like, are you interested? I'm like, am I interested? Like, I was literally going to my first casting that day. I was just there supporting my lady, it's her thing, but I was getting ready to go do my thing after that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, amazing. They were interested in me. They saw something in me. They say, oh, you have the look, all of that. I'm like, man, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit confident, but
Right.
I didn't know that, that can happen for me. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden I'm in the game.